I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, I was about to say that, like, you do see that, though, like, whenever someone got something going on, whether it's a death in the family or whether someone is very on a sick bed, they always put up a cash app or something like, hey, you guys want to support because we don't have the funds for it.
Yeah.
Like, they really lean on their community to help out because the system isn't doing enough.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video.
Who we got today, C?
Today we are back with another American reaction.
Facts.
We're super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit the red subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell because we're on the road to
50K.
And we cannot get there without you guys. All right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
America is bad at everything.
Oh,
America
God.
seems to be bad at everything. Oh, God. We don't like rats.
America is the greatest country on earth. The strongest, the richest, the most powerful country on earth.
Nah, they doing that bad.
As an American, I'm sure you've heard that roughly 135 times a year. 235 if you go to public school. 335 if you go to a Christian academy. We're told that Americans have the best lives of any people in the world.
Yo, I feel like, I'm sorry. I feel like he about to roast us bad,
Yes.
bro. I feel like he about to John Clown get on us, bro. All that.
Highest living standards on earth. And most inaccurately, that we're the freest. Well, it is partly true. America is the richest country, not just in the world, but in the history
Don't
of the
he
world.
do the
It's really hard to
YouTube thingy?
comprehend just how rich we are.
Nothing.
We
It
have
look like it.
18 million people who are
It's a movie or
millionaires.
something. I don't know.
American households own about $100 trillion in wealth, an almost unthinkable amount of money. Okay, so America is the richest country ever. But there's a curious paradox. Most Americans actually have a much worse standard of living than people who live in poorer countries like Germany or Finland or Britain.
True.
But how can that be? That shouldn't make any sense. Well, here's the shitty deal. Americans get significantly worse services because our tax dollars don't fund them. So, of course, our services are worse. And thus we enjoy less happy lives than people who live in the aforementioned countries.
Where our tax dollars going?
Not that difficult a concept to conceive, really. You get what you pay for, said the cartoon dog to the other cartoon dog. And while you might think the reason American tax dollars don't fund as many services is because we pay lower taxes than other countries, that's not even true. When you add federal, state, local, and sales taxes and include other costs and services that our taxes don't cover but other countries' taxes do, like our uniquely high health insurance premiums, you'll find that Americans actually give away more of their wages than most of the developed
millions
world.
of times. I heard that.
For example, in Canada, for a married worker with 2 kids, all of the previously mentioned costs combined, from taxes to health insurance premiums, make up only 11% of the average wage. In the UK, it's just about 26%. Meanwhile, once you tack on the cost of our outlandish health insurance premiums, you're spending a whopping 43% of your paycheck. That's more than France, Finland, Sweden, and Norway. In real reality, Americans keep much less of what we own than in other countries. In other countries, their government takes a bit more tax, but then gives that money back to their citizens in the form of healthcare or job support, or a general safety net for all vulnerable citizens, no matter how dusky they are. So what do Americans get for the money we pay in? Well, sure, we get a crumbling infrastructure, shameful homelessness, and millions of hungry, neglected children, but we also get some of the worst services in the developed world. Again, our healthcare. American healthcare is simultaneously the most expensive, the least efficient, and the least effective healthcare system in the developed world. Hey, the devil's trifecta.
Do we have the least, what did he say, least effective healthcare?
Something, yeah. But the most expensive healthcare. I mean, it is expensive.
But our research, like, you know, I don't know, like our research hospitals, like Johns Hopkins, like, that is a good hospital.
We have a good hospital.
Like, isn't I can't remember if it was the brain or the heart. I think it was the heart.
Okay.
The child's heart. At first, nobody was
Oh, I know what you're talking
operating on the
about.
child's heart.
Yeah.
Was it the heart or the brain? I don't remember. I don't know if I agree with that. Johns Hopkins is a beast now.
Yeah,
they do some groundbreaking things.
Yeah, but all hospitals do have like the cost of all of it. Like at the end of it all, the billing is very expensive.
Oh yeah.
Because of healthcare. So he said our taxes go back to benefit the healthcare, but the healthcare is not really giving us enough to pay off what we use in the healthcare for. So it's kind of still like in a oop doop. You know what I'm saying? I just made up a word.
Oop doop.
Yeah.
And in exchange for this extremely expensive, inefficient healthcare system, what do we get? Well, we get some of the worst health outcomes in the developed world. We have fewer hospital beds per capita than people in Turkey or Brunei. Americans have a lower life expectancy than people in Lebanon or Cuba.
Oh, wow.
And in the Mississippi Delta and much of Appalachia, life expectancy is lower than in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
In fact, in 2017, the United Nations sent a commissioner to West Virginia to document what he saw, and he described, quote, third world conditions of absolute poverty, unquote.
Yes.
We even have a higher infant mortality rate than people in Russia and Serbia. In every single metric, America does worse across the board. So why is healthcare so expensive? Because it's so complicated. You have to look for in-network physicians, schedule an established care appointment, beg for coverage from your insurance company that couldn't care less about you, and that's if you're lucky enough to have good insurance. Compare that to Britain and all of those other evil, socialist-like countries where it's simple. Public hospitals provide free treatment to people who need it. That's it. I'll repeat that. Public hospitals provide free treatment to people who need it. And here's the best part. Even though Britain offers healthcare for free, their system is actually a lot cheaper to run than ours. Per capita healthcare spending in the US is almost 3 times what it is in Britain, and almost 5 times what Canadians spend. In fact, Americans spend the most per person of any country in the world for healthcare. But the free market is more efficient, you screech. But in America, private systems often aren't efficient at all. Private drug companies have an incentive to charge whatever they can get away with for pharmaceuticals. In Canada, a carton of insulin costs about $20. In the US, it costs $300. And with private insurance companies footing the bill, hospitals have an incentive to get as much money out of patients as possible too. In 2015, the average cost of an MRI scan in the US was $1,119. But it was only $215 in Australia. Spain, about $181. And our healthcare system is so inefficient that we spend over 1/3 of our cost on administration. The United States spends significantly more on administration than we spend on preventative or long-term healthcare. That's just not smart. Okay, we get it. We all know that American healthcare is so much more expensive, you say, but that's the cost of having the freest freedom in God's favorite country. Well, guess what? Medical procedures that are totally free in Britain, like giving birth, cost tens of thousands of dollars in the United States. I mean, you want to talk about the cost of freedom. Sadly, because of these high costs, Americans often avoid going to the doctor, something almost half the population say they do. With shoddy or non-existent health insurance, Americans will wait until their conditions force them into the emergency room where treatment is far more expensive. Again, not a smart system. Quite often, they end up putting off medical visits and dying. Susan Finley, a 53-year-old Walmart employee in Colorado, got pneumonia and took 1 day off of work beyond what Walmart's policy allows. So of course, Walmart's gonna Walmart, which they did by firing her. Without her job, she lost her nominal health care coverage, she struggled to find new work, and after avoiding a visit to the doctor for flu-like symptoms, she was found dead in her apartment.
Oh, wow.
When Americans do manage to get treated, they frequently can't afford it. Simple, life-saving treatments can cost tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and if they don't have really good insurance, they're forced to take on medical debt. Tens of millions of Americans owe medical debt, often into the tens of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, in a country like Britain or Norway, medical debt is almost unheard of. But hey, that's why GoFundMe is such a critical component of American healthcare. 1 in 3 GoFundMe campaigns is now for medical bills. I'll repeat.
Child, I'm sorry.
Now you go ahead. You want me to go for it? Yeah, I was about to say that, like, you do see that, though, like, whenever someone got something going on, whether it's a death in the family or whether someone is very on a sick bed, they always put up a cash app or something like, hey, you guys want to support because we don't have the funds for it.
Yeah.
Like, they really lean on their community to help out because the system isn't doing enough.
Right. Imagine if we did have free healthcare. Excuse me. Imagine if we did have universal healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we wouldn't have to do these things. But
Right.
that's crazy.
That 1 in 3 GoFundMe campaigns is now for medical bills. America is such a strong, powerful, rich, and great country that its citizens have to beg strangers on the internet for money so they can get life-saving treatments that are free in the rest of the developed world.
Now, what if they have a passport and they just go out there to the doctor? Would that work?
I don't know how that works. I mean,
It sounds simple.
They aren't citizens, but I do know that a lot of our people go to like Turkey and Colombia and all of that to get cosmetic surgery and veneers.
Right.
So-
And veneers. But I think people just need a country they can lean on. They need a crutch.
They need to be able to lean on their own country, though.
But I know, I'm saying, to like go out there, have a location that you find suitable for your being and your person, and have your information there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when push comes to shove, if something happen and you know it ain't popping off over here, just go over there and get it done.
Yeah, but that reminds me of like one of the like TV personality people. She went abroad to get a surgery, and then she ended up developing like a blood. Something happened with her blood that put her in the hospital. She had to get both of her implants that she had just got out. I think it was like a breast augmentation or something. And she had to get it out. And yeah, that was a bad situation. Imagine going through that in a whole nother country where you don't know nobody, you have a family, like
was she able to like get it done because it was free, or
no, it wasn't free. It was cheaper.
It was cheaper, but was she able to get it done that way?
That's
because it was cheaper.
That's what called her going out there. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but when she went out there and got that surgery, she got the infection down there before she even left to come back. So yeah, I don't know much about cosmetic surgery, so I can't really.
Yeah, we're gonna talk on that. We're gonna talk.
But hey, that's just healthcare.
That's just healthcare.
Americans get terrible deals wherever you look. Let's take work, for example. Americans work longer hours than people in any other rich country in the world, and that's not because they enjoy sleep deprivation and not seeing their families for days at a time. It's because they don't want to starve, or freeze, or die. See, America has the least generous job support programs, the least generous family benefits, and the least generous unemployment benefits of any wealthy country. It's one of the only countries on Earth that doesn't guarantee paid time off for vacations. It doesn't even help provide paid time off for parents who just had a child. And it's not coincidental that we're also one of the most hostile countries to workers' rights. America has one of the lowest unionization rates in the entire world. Maybe this deprivation, our refusal to give people the means to lead a good, dignified life commensurate with how rich our country is, can explain a bit of what we've seen in the United States over the last few decades. Fraying communities, rising rates of depression and suicide, huge numbers of deaths from drug overdoses. These so-called deaths of despair, suicide, drug overdoses, alcoholic liver disease, they're one big reason why American life expectancy has actually started to decline over the last few years. And with such poor conditions, it's not a surprise that poverty is so rampant in the United States. America devotes a smaller percentage of spending on social welfare than any other industrialized economy because, say it with me, socialism is evil.
Oh.
It's evil. Go to Denmark and try telling those happy, healthy families enjoying their paid vacation that their system of government is evil. Guess what?
What are you gonna do?
I guarantee they'll know you're an American.
Oh, wow.
But I digress. America also has the highest rate of child poverty of any developed country, and the highest
the
percentage of workers
babies.
earning significantly less than the national median income. That seems pretty evil to me, especially since such a tiny fraction take as much of your money for themselves and their families as you will let them. All the while, both parties...
Okay, so this is what I don't understand. If we are the highest in child poverty and there are programs to take care of babies and children if their parents aren't able to, how are we the highest? Because there's free health care. There's even a monthly stipend for the children. There's food stamps. There's even WIC, added food on food stamps.
That is true.
How are we the highest? That's puzzling.
I don't know if this answers the questions, but I feel that, you know what I'm saying, there's always something in I feel like there's something always involved into something else. Meaning that if one thing is broken, well, without even being broken, they will break it so it can be more dependent on something else that was created, so more money can flow in that direction.
Right.
So you can be more dependent on something else.
Right. And then there's not even that. There's Section 8. So how do we have the highest?
It don't make
puzzling
sense
because we have the resources.
We have the resources, but I feel like there's another gap in between that makes people have to still use their money. Because when you're down there, when you don't have, though you may have EBT, though you may have Section 8, though you have all these things, that is only a tip of what you can afford compared to what you still have to spend your money back onto.
But listen, I agreed with a lot of things. But there's something I want to research myself, and I want to research the reasons behind it because, okay, say Sierra's the government, right? Sierra is giving her citizens Section 8 vouchers to live in nice homes. You don't even have to live in the projects. You can go live in a nice community. I will give you free food stamps. Depending on the amount of children that you have, there are some people out here that is getting over $1,000 a month to feed their children. I'm giving you WIC on top of that to make sure your children get fruits and vegetables and bread and cheese and juice and money, free money on top of free money.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold up. What I gave out a free house.
Yeah. Free food.
Free food plus free food. Free childcare. What else they give?
What they
free healthcare.
Free healthcare. Yep.
What else?
Free. I don't know what else is free.
I don't get the child poverty. Children is my weak point. So I don't get the child poverty. The rich ain't complaining. The people on the poverty level, they have resources. It's the middle class who's doing the worst in our country.
Which is sad.
So why?
Yeah,
I don't
that
get
don't
that.
make
sense. That's not making sense for me.
That don't make sense.
They smile and shake hands. Across every single metric, no people accept a worse deal than Americans today. High taxes, high cost of living for next to nothing in return from the government. The most expensive healthcare system for the worst health outcomes.
Yeah.
More money taken from workers for the highest rate of child poverty. We are the richest country in the history of the world, but we have fewer miles of high-speed rail than Uzbekistan. We are the greatest country in the world, yet we have the most people in prison of any country, and the highest incarceration rate as well.
Mention that.
And a higher rate of police killings than in Angola and Sudan. America is bad at everything because instead of choosing to make life better for people through a public healthcare system or more generous childcare policies or better public transit or programs that allow people to spend more time with their families, American law is designed and crafted to protect a class of parasitical middleman industries. Instead of using a proportionally tiny piece of the massive amount of the wealth in this country to make people's lives healthier and happier,
Right.
Most of our elected leaders are, and have been for generations, engaged in a massive project of looting. Gently and lovingly guiding as much money as possible from working people into the pockets of the well-connected and the ultra-rich. Think about that as we start hearing about the inevitable rise in homelessness, poverty, starvation, and sickness that will occur during these coming months and years in the greatest, strongest, richest, most powerful country on the face of the earth. I'm David Cross for the Gravel Institute.
It's the jungle out here, y'all, man.
Okay.
Tried to tell y'all, bro, you gotta be built for this type of environment. They gonna take from you, they gonna give to you, but if you ain't in the right mind, you won't know what's hitting you.
Yeah, so
you won't know.
So I think we touched on the points of healthcare before in one of our videos, but the child poverty, that just kind of puzzled me, because there's no way that we should be the highest in child poverty if the resources are available. If the government is giving the free voucher, the housing vouchers, food, public education, healthcare, like, it's there.
Right.
There's no need for us to be the highest in child poverty. No child should be in poverty.
Make it make sense. It makes sense.
It's provided. Like,
if these things are literally like free at your disposal, like you can use it whenever you need it. Like, all you gotta do is put out a few paperwork and information, and your child, if anything, your child, it should be straight.
Yeah, not you. I mean, you can put yourself on the application as well, but it's there. Like, Dion and I already shared our story when we were, newly parents, newly living together, how we survived off of $25 of groceries. We shared that before, and we shared the different resources that we went through that we used during our time of need. No child needs to be in poverty. Like, that's...
Yeah, if anything, take care of the babies. That's our future. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, we living in a certain way. We living in a certain time, and it's just... Yeah, he makes it sound like people going to want to leave.
That's what he makes it sound like. But, I mean, if everybody leave, how would it ever get better?
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So, like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you would like to support the channel that way. And we have our mailing address in the description box below.
Check it out.
If you would like to send us anything from your country, a letter, anything. We'll be sure to read it on camera and share our thoughts and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, we'll see y'all soon.
Peace.